Okay. Welcome to the Monday, May 19th, 2025 Selectmen's Meeting. Please join me in pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Public input.
Yes. I'm gonna need to make
Name.
Max Ledoux, Durgan Road. I'm gonna need to make an appointment with you, but I wanted to come in and give you a heads up. And it's great that Jackie's here too. 10 years ago, I was the first person, or the first property in town to get the historic preservation easement for our barn. And consequently, I'm also the first person in town to remember that it expires after 10 years. So I need to renew it. And I know there have been a couple of other barns in town. There's one on Federal Corner as well. So this may be something that you're dealing with in the next couple of years. So anyway, what it if for anybody who doesn't know, what it does is it freezes the assessment of the barn and then reduces it by 75% for 10 years. And then you can renew it. And my understanding of the law is that you can renew it indefinitely, so you don't have to come in and renew it again. So that is what I'll be asking for, because that'll be better for me.
Is there, I'm unfamiliar with this process. Is there just an application that you have to refill out every 10 years?
That's my understanding, yeah. So, well, it's good that you're here, but it's the select board that, is the deciding thing, so.
I could do one for my barn too. I've thought about it. I just have the cycles to do it right now.
Yeah, and the requirements are it's historic, so it's at least a certain number of years old. Mine was built around the same time as the house in 1790, so qualifies. Has to be visible from the street so that the public gets some enjoyment. And then there's one other, but I don't remember what it is. And I can say 100% that our barn would not be standing today if we hadn't fixed it. And while the easement didn't exactly compensate for the amount of money we put into it, it's a nice thing.
Yep.
And we appreciate it and would like to renew it. So,
Well, if it's available, fill out the application and send it in.
Yep. So.
You might want to include what you spent. I mean, perpetual tax abatements are not my.
Well, I don't know if it's perpetual for like.
I think it only
my ownership.
If I remember correctly, it only carries during your ownership.
Yeah.
And then whoever would purchase it would have to reapply.
Well,
if I remember.
Max is going to live there till he dies, anyways.
Yeah. I hope to live very long. So, but the tax easement, I can
what you saved and what cost.
But it'll never add up. But
yeah.
And I believe Mr. Guy Pike was sitting in this room when I applied for it.
I was indeed. It's when I first met you and Molly.
You weren't a selectman then, though, were you?
No.
Yeah. Because I wasn't here when you did
It
that.
was right before.
Right before I got here.
Or in between, I suppose. That's where.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, the more barns, the better.
So I'll follow up with an email to make an appointment for later time.
When does it expire? I mean, is it
That's why it's nice that Jackie's here.
is
I
it
don't
is
know,
it is it on this tax bill? Do you know, Jackie?
It's not on his bill, but it's in the file. And
But he
I
isn't
think
going
he has
to
to do so much repair work or something, which I know he did that within that 10-year frame.
Oh
so,
yeah.
But he isn't going to get hit with additional taxes in this bill that's coming out.
I think it's before we did it 10 years ago, but I have a record from that it was recorded for the 2016, so I don't know.
Oh, yeah, so he has till next year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds like it.
But I'll also come in and talk to you. Alright, I won't take up more time. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Anybody else for public input?
You have an appointment.
Oh, I have an appointment.
Okay. All right, moving on.
Have a great evening.
You too.
See you next.
Thanks.
Thank you. Approval of minutes. We have minutes from our last selectmen's meeting, Monday, May 5th. I've been over them, just made a couple of grammatical corrections, no content changes.
Unless the electronic ones are different than the ones in print, then I'm all set as well.
They are not.
And then I'm all set,
There we go.
for the public minutes, because, we're gonna separate the public from the non-public?
Mhm.
Okay. So I will, say that we should approve the minutes from Monday, May 5th, selectmen's meeting.
Got a motion?
I'll second.
Yes, it's a motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we have non-public minutes. We have two sets of non-public minutes from May 5th.
All right, they don't have a time on them.
In the italics.
Oh, 6:20. So I'll
Yeah.
make a motion that we accept the 6:20 minutes, non-public.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
And we have 5:41 minutes.
And, I'll make a motion to approve the 5:41 non-public session minutes from May 5th.
I'll second.
All those in, and these minutes remain sealed.
Sealed, yes.
All those in favor? Aye.
Okay.
Appointments, tax collector.
You probably remember 2 weeks ago, the town took deed to 2 properties for non-payment of taxes.
Yes.
And the owner has the right to come back within 3 years this is just informational, within 3 years to buy back the property. In order to do that, he has to pay all the back taxes up to when he pays it off. Interest, has to pay a 10% penalty of market value plus at the time of deeding. Plus you have to figure in the equalization rate. So,
And isn't there a legal fee involved?
yeah, there's a legal fee, and I did, so in the meantime, one of the property owners has come back. And it's all on him, he just ignored his registered letters that I showed him, signed for him and all that stuff, so. I figured out the amount that he needs to pay it off. He's gonna do that. And an attorney happened to come in at that point, and he said he'd be willing to do the deed. And so I put down legal fees would be $150, because the town would deed it over to him, once he's got everything paid to date. And I gave him the figures, and it comes to about $8,000, including the penalty, so he was,
How much time does this person have?
he has 3 years.
No, sorry, to actually make the payment, because you said he's gonna be making the payment now?
He's implied that he was gonna do it right off. He
Right.
might not be able to do it all, the first right off, but he would do at least partial payments till he got it paid off, but he
And you
thought he
have a-
might be able to pay it all off.
You have a daily rate for whatever
Yes,
interest there
Yeah.
is.
so I just wanted to give you a heads up that he's
Well, good.
gonna get his land back.
And that's
And he
not one
won't
of the
let it
ones,
happen
Good,
again.
because we don't enjoy.
I know.
that's not one of the
rules.
ones we have for
No,
today.
No, this is just,
Okay.
just happened to be 2. And the other one who knows?
All right.
But anyway, so I just wanted you to know.
All right, this is informational, you don't need us to take any action.
No, I just wanted,
Okay,
you know.
and while you're here, there was, I don't know what folder it's in, there was a question about,
I think it's in consent.
consent.
Yeah, the signature file. One on your right
It's
hand,
in here somewhere.
that one.
There it is. Oh, yeah, here it is. About the,
Right.
the trailer.
On Governor Wentworth Highway?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. You're suggesting that we tax it. However, their use of the trailer has been terminated. So apparently it's gonna have to go away soon, if it hasn't already.
well, it might go away quicker since it's being taxed.
Right, but, let's see, Jack brought up a concern that taxation of the camper on there legitimizes the camper being located on the parcel.
Yeah.
So,
If, I talked to Rod about it.
yeah,
If you have a mobile home or trailer or whatever, it's supposed to be registered, motor vehicle registration.
Right.
If it's not, then it could be considered a shed renting, you should be taxed for it.
mhm,
You know, there's a lot down to Lane's End that are they're legally, but they're not registered. So we tax them. And this is one that, you know, as you know, got put there and nothing's happening. And so Rod I thought he had talked to Jack, but Jack said he hadn't. So, it's on the bill that's going out. So, I mean, it comes to a point you can abate it or do whatever, but I guess that's between the selectman and the assessor, or,
No, it's just between the selectmen.
okay,
The assessor gives us advice, like you're giving us
yeah,
advice.
right.
I mean, I don't know if it complicates the eviction, that's the issue in my mind. You know, we want the use of that gone by, I think October is the drop dead date. Cause you can use a camper in the summer.
right, because we gave them an extension to carry it
To
through the
carry through
winter.
the winter.
Right,
And then they have another 6 months because of
summertime.
summer season.
Yeah. I just,
Is that 6 months something you?
we
We don't-
decided,
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
cause,
they-
Because normally you get
cause once
4
cold weather
weekends.
hits, then you don't get to live in your camper anymore.
Yeah.
Unless you come and ask us, and they
Right.
came and asked, or somebody asked.
Yeah,
And so we made that election back in the fall.
yeah, they appealed to our sensibilities, I guess. And asked
Your soft
to,
spot.
yes, they asked for a 6-month extension. We granted
And
it.
my concern would be that if we tax the property, then they could be working under the assumption that, okay, now they
It's
can live in
permitted.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, how much are we, I kind of agree with the assessor on that one,
Yeah,
personally.
okay. All right, we'll deal with that in the action.
yeah, it will be, I know, I looked and it is on this tax bill, you
Yeah.
can
All right.
do whatever. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.
Yep.
Parks and Rec. Evening.
Sorry I missed come on up here, Sydney. The last meeting, I was in Utah for a college graduation. Beautiful out there. Let me introduce Nina Fortin. She's
Hello.
our candidate.
Anita, is that?
Nina?
Nina.
Nina.
Nina,
Dave.
like the Pinto de Santa Maria.
Bob,
Hi.
how are you?
Hi, nice to meet you all.
Same.
She's our candidate for the beach monitor position. She's been a kindergarten teacher the last 5-6 years.
Right, at
here
TCS,
Central
yeah.
School. I've, seen her many times. We've talked about the possibility of camps and camp directors. I know that's on the back burner, but that's still not here. So when this position come up, we had some incidents last year, no question about it. We sat down, we gave her a job description, putting her in times where we feel it's gonna be 25 hours a week that's gonna benefit us the best. Basically Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If a heat spell comes in, more hours. Wednesday, I'm there for cornhole, probably 4 to 8. I'm there summer hours, but Thursday's concerts for 9 of them, so. We feel we got the summer covered pretty good. We're happy about the position. And just that, my wife's making a beautiful homemade sign. She's an artist. Beach monitor on duty, so people know that. So that's basically it. If you want to say anything or any questions.
Not a lifeguard.
No, I don't have that certification, so just sort of patrol and making sure everybody is compliant, follow directions, parking, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So this is
we
20
talk, go ahead.
You're talking 25 hours a week,
Yeah,
times what, 10
20
weeks?
hours.
Mm-hmm.
20,
20
9,
hours?
10 weeks. So it's somewhere between 4 and 5 grand
Okay,
out of the,
where's that coming out of?
well, we put all those part-time positions under one line, I think. Remember, I was trying to
Support staff.
support staff, yeah.
So you got $6,280,
That's right.
and that includes your beach cleanup guy,
That's
right?
right. Right on.
So are you gonna be going over on
Of
that
course not.
line?
You know me.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
no?
No.
All right.
Okay.
I'll
We're
remind
smiling
you of
in
that
August, the end of
in
August.
September. I'll
Yeah,
remind you of
yeah,
that.
yeah. Don't hold your breath. Any questions? We had talked about some of the stuff in the past that's happened, and, you know, not to confront them, but just to enforce the rules. If she's got an issue, call me, or we're gonna call, she's gonna have
Jamie.
Jamie's number, so. Again, you know, we maybe had 2, 3 incidents a year, whether it be drinking or dogs or smoking or anything like that. Cleanup people will be there right before you, so I think it's a good move, and I thank you guys for that on the budget.
Yeah, I'd like to limit the number of boats that beach there. I mean, that's just a personal preference of mine. I mean, it's a beach for kids and people to swim
Yeah.
at.
Yeah,
And
Well-
one time I was down there, I think there were 4 or 5 boats
If you
wrapped.
look,
yeah.
and this would be a pet peeve for me, and it'd be probably a good-sized job. If you're looking out the water
Mhm.
from the pavilion, well, you probably got 30, 40 yards of potential beach all the way to that fence. But as you see it, it's, you know, it's garbage, it's rocks, it's logs, it's growth. And a couple of the boats are parked way over there, way out of the way. I mean, that could be another 30, 40 yards of beach if we ever thought of that. But some of the boats you're talking about are to the right. The outrigger boat is more to the left. One
No,
of those
this wasn't
boats
the
is
outrigger.
for the sail people to go back out to the sailboat
Yeah.
to take them out. So outside of
Just
that-
people driving, and the people that I saw, and I think there were 3 or 4 boats there, but there was probably over a case and a half of beer on the boats.
On the, oh,
You
I mean,
know,
boats
so-
coming in, listening to the concerts?
No. Middle of the day, sunny day, beach in there, walking around in the park area that's next to the pavilion.
Yeah,
And, you know, it's not what my understanding of the creation of that beach was all about, which was a swimming place.
yeah.
So,
Well, we got our beach monitor, that's not gonna
yeah,
happen.
that's what I'm saying, keep an eye on it.
Right.
Right. Well,
Don't
we have,
get
we
yourself
have,
in
we have a
trouble.
town, we have a town pier that you can knock your boats at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think if you start, if you allow one person, you have to allow everybody.
Mm.
We don't want that.
It's such a nice new
And-
morph.
do we have, I don't know, a T-shirt or some identification for
T-shirt,
it?
yeah. There's 3 different
Yeah.
shirts that
She
say
got staff
Tufton
shirts,
Borough
yeah.
Parks and Rec.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you gonna do anything at Melvin
No,
or just 19
no,
Mile?
19
Okay,
Mile Bay.
all right.
You're welcome to stay, or you can go.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your time. It was nice to meet you all.
Yeah, welcome.
We're
Okay.
gonna get together with Aunt Audrey.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, Audrey. All right.
You teach kindergarten?
Yes, I teach kindergarten at TCS. Yep.
Sophie?
Yes.
That's my granddaughter.
Oh, no way, really? Oh, I adore her.
Everybody does.
Yeah, she's the sweetest. Oh.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, this year.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you so much. All right, take care.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Next meeting of the Parks and Commissioners, June 3rd. Mark that down.
On with Parks.
I didn't drop all the time.
Am I on Parks and Rec?
That's
Yes.
June 3rd, yeah.
Okay, June 3rd.
Yeah, we have two other new staff people, the beach people. Everett Bowley, Bubba's son, is gonna do for the month of July, then he's going cross country with his family in an RV. The month of August is gonna be John Littlefield.
Oh.
Yeah, he's gonna do it actually at night, like 6 to 8, 7 to 9, something like that, because he works there.
Doesn't matter. What's he gonna do? Empty the trash, rake the beach?
Yeah, yeah, clean the grills, that kind of stuff, goose poop, stuff like that.
Good.
So we did have a new commission member, Becky Owens
And
on.
can we just stop there for a second?
Yeah,
Is he gonna do Melvin Beach as well?
no,
What are we doing there? We're just gonna abandon
I
it?
haven't done Melvin since I've been here 7 years.
Well, does that make it right?
Put it in the budget, give me some money, we'll talk about it.
It's, no, you're the, don't get me started. You know, don't ask for extras if you're not gonna do what we want
Yeah,
with the facilities we have.
but where does
So-
Melvin come from? I haven't done that since I've been here.
I was just down there the other day with the safety committee.
Yeah,
You know, where's the trash container there? Who's taking the trash out of there?
yeah, he
There
still
was
does that.
trash
He don't
there.
put them out till Memorial Day.
Well, whatever, but
Yeah.
picking the
Plus we have
trash
two
up,
new trash barrels at 19 Mile.
and that's nice.
It's $700
Yes,
a
we have,
barrel.
we have two beaches, so let's take
Yeah,
care of both
yeah.
of them. Maybe you don't want to come to that meeting, I don't know. What do you think? Oh, yeah, he's not, I gave him budget, that's a good deal for me, not so much for
All right, can
him.
I go on here?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. We do have a request, another new member, Karen Nemeth, is looking to come on the commission. Cornhole is gonna start this Wednesday, but I still gotta go down and line the field, and hopefully it's not wet, so I'm gonna check that tomorrow. If it's wet, we'll move it a week, but we got 10 teams ready to go on that. Family Fun Night, we're doing with the Central School, the kickball segment, that's on May 30th. Yoga starts July 11th to August 18th, every Friday morning, 8 to 9, right on the beach. Sailing starts on June 3rd. Outdoor canoe starts May 24th, this Saturday. The good news on the concerts, last time I was here, we were 1,000 behind, now we're 1,000 over. So we needed 5,200, we're up to 6,200 now, so that's good news. I just got a small donation for $50, unknown, I won't say who gave it to me, but appreciate that. Nice donation from David with helping out at the concession with a beautiful hot dog machine. So I might need another trailer and stuff to start storing all this stuff. Lake Coast, we're gonna send our instructor to a training June 4th. She'll be going to that. It's the Lake Coast Congress. We got a lot of work to do to get ready this week with the summer prep work, with the benches, the swim lines. We got the tractor in the shop so we can actually, we went through that a couple of years ago. It's like Hampton Beach when it's all done. It's beautiful.
You have a concert sign?
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to come in, yeah. The two, those are cemented posts, those 4x4s, one of them snapped. The wind is unbelievable, man, like those, so that's another thing we gotta do. Biggest issue is the shoreline is gotta get cleaned up. I'm gonna start on that tomorrow. Old Home Days, couple of crazy ideas. I talked to Dave a little bit about it. The car show has been confirmed. There's an art display, a wine and cheese has been confirmed. The Historical Society has been. Three things that are probably gonna happen. One is called chaotic wrestling. I had that when I ran the Elks in Hudson, Mass, and they wanted to come up here. So we're gonna plug that into an Old Home Week. It's great, it's just like the WWF. I mean, it's great entertainment, great athletes, great show.
It's not a participatory event.
It's what?
It's not a
No,
participatory event.
no.
We can't get
They're
in
all
and-
actors.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right. Didn't know if you were looking for volunteers.
At Davis Field, that Saturday on the 23rd is gonna be the inflatable circus, where we're gonna have a dozen blow-up scavenger hunt, moon bounce, water slide type things all going around. That'll be part of our whole 1 week. And the other thing we're looking at, we're dealing with the boat museum and South New Hampshire's the kayak race, so changing the cowboy boat race to the kayak race. And that's it, that's all I have.
Good.
Or is it coming in a busy season?
Gonna have a busy summer.
I will be, yeah, I haven't been working like 10 hours a week, but it's gonna go
That's
up,
gonna change.
it's gonna go up.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go down Melton and start cleaning down there.
You recovered from all of your injuries?
No, I can't, look at, it's as high as I can go.
Really?
I haven't been to the driving range yet to see if I can swim.
We can always putt.
I got a doctor's appointment Wednesday that, he said you gotta wait a year to make sure that it's totally not good. So, I can't do the backstroke, not good. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Good to see you. I'll try to make it to the meeting.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. How are you, Jim?
I'm doing well, how are you?
So you'll get to.
Lisa D'Amelio?
Yeah, hi, I'm here.
Oh.
It's actually Chancarelli too. But, I wanted to, first of all, thank you for seeing me.
Sure.
I wanted to talk about the beach, so it's a perfect lead-in. Last year I could not walk. My knee was gone. I could not use that beach at all. Every single time I went down there were out-of-towners. Now I'm fine now. It's not an issue. I can walk. I'm good about walking. There was only one time I got to use the beach, and that was when they had the fundraiser, because I felt it was important that we support that fundraiser. But I have a lot of people that come into the business that I work in, and there's a ton of hips and knees being done, surgeries with Tufton Borough residents. So I do not propose what Wolfboro did and not sharing our resources. I think that's highly extreme, and that's not what I'm proposing. What I'm proposing, if you would consider at some point putting it up for a vote, enacting a parking ordinance just on the side where the beach is. And the reason I say that is I'm fine with sharing our resources, but when Wolfboro cut off everything, they sent everything to us. And we can't support that, let alone we have no benefit of any of it. They have inns, they have a lot of Airbnbs, they have restaurants and you name it, businesses down there. So we are not getting hardly any of the benefits of shifting the people toward us. Plus, we have the smallest of facilities compared to them. And I'm not doing this for myself because I can walk now. I'm better. But what about all of the residents that are paying taxes that cannot? So, and I actually took a video last week of what's already happening down there. And so I'd like to you guys to consider, please, a few ideas. I'm not saying you would want to do them, but at least consider them. I feel, and I have a video, there were 4 pickup extra long beds there last Tuesday at 5 minutes of 12. We're not even in season yet. They were there all day. 3 out of 4 were from out of state, 2 Maine, 1 Mass, and 1 New Hampshire. But they had their boat haulers or hitch, I don't know what you would call them. That took up the entire side. 4 cars. I'm happy to show you the video.
Is this down at the beach park
Down
or
at
up
the
on the road?
on the road.
On the road.
Oh, on the road.
On the road.
Yeah.
So I have been giving this some thought since last year because I know that there are people that can't get down there and that would like to go. And I'm sure you could talk to people that you know, but there's a lot of people that are having surgeries that can't utilize our resources. So my thought was, if we could take the side closest to the beach and make that for residents, and take the side across the street
and leave that open to anybody from out of town. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, how do we enforce it? Where does the money come? My thought was we use our dump pass or our transfer station pass because that's the easiest way. It's on our window, and if you live here, you have one. Two, when Sandwich enacted a parking issue, because I found out from the former chief of police there, they made $12,000, which I think we could use for some of the things you were discussing right before me. And that is just a limited time period where they made money. Now, the other thing you could do is you could just take the whole area and say parking pass only and make some money again. I don't
So
think.
the money's made through fines, is that?
You could make money through fines, or you could make money by selling a parking pass. That takes more work. So the easiest way to do it is just share the wealth, have the spots closest to the beach be for residents, and take the ones across the street. And also, don't fill boat hitches. Drop your boat off, do what you need to do, and go across the street. That's how it used to be.
Oh, that's
Somewhere along the
generally,
line it changed.
I mean, when, during the summer, like, do people with their trailers park in the, next to the beach? I've never seen that.
Not down at the beach.
It depends on how busy, first of all, the beach parking lot on Bay Road
Yeah.
is by ordinance no trailer parking, so you can't attach trailer parking in there. I think she's talking about parallel to the
Parallel
road and
to
that
the road.
pull off.
And I don't know that we, do we control that or the state control it?
So, you have a couple issues. Number one is that you need to be careful about the fact that there is a state right-of-way that comes off the pavement a certain way. I don't know the footage. The state would control that. So when we have summertime and everybody is out on the lake, or it's 4th of July, whatever, and they're all parking along the road there, as long as they would prefer to be off the pavement, which is why they're in the soft shoulder, or sometimes as long as they're outside the fog line and partially off the road, that's gonna be acceptable, and we do not enforce that. Town police will enforce that if we need to, but we haven't needed to because it's just been allowed. And I do know that there are some times where people will drop their boat in down at the dock, and then they'll pull in, and they'll pull right into that pull-off parallel to the road, and it takes up a whole spot for cars to nose in.
I can show you this video from
I have noticed
the other
that quite
day.
a bit on patrol.
We've seen it,
Yeah, first come,
It's
first
only
served kind
4.
of thing.
yeah.
And they were there all day. It's
Yeah.
only 4 that took up the whole area.
And they weren't at the beach,
Yeah.
they were out on their boats. I mean, maybe we could put a sign up, no trailers.
Just back it up. Now, I was driving, so don't, I was like this. I could not stop, and I could not.
Your passenger was taking the video.
But, so you're not getting a good idea of how long those hitches
Yeah, no,
are?
I know exactly what you're talking about now, though.
But I'm just saying it only takes 4. So I'm throwing this up there. I'm not saying I have the answer, but I think there's a way to make money. If Sandwich could make $12,000 doing this, you may want to consider this for an income. Or you may not, he may say, I don't
I'm
have
not
enough people and
Would they
we're
must have been
stretched to
selling passes?
capacity.
Is that what they were doing?
no, they were,
You can't-
they were,
You can't, we don't get to keep the money that the police charges for a fine.
okay. So
And
then
they-
you get to keep the money.
Because they can appeal it to the district court or circuit court or wherever they go. I mean, it's a traffic violation. I don't know how does Sandwich keep the
If
money?
we cover it under ordinance, and it is a parking violation,
Okay,
that revenue comes to the town clerk.
all right.
If they choose to fight it, then they will appeal it to district court, where we'll have a hearing on it. So it is possible to enact something there in our ordinance that we can bite on, if you folks choose to do so. I have a lot of things that we need to do. I know last year I had talked about trying to revamp the docking and parking ordinance kind of thing, and that's in the works now. We also have to update our parking ticket stubs ourselves, because I need to print new ones.
with the ordinances and the fines and stuff, so that's gonna be in the works here too, not too long. So, there's some things I have to do, but I mean, it's probably doable.
What about the signage?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what,
There's no signs there
no,
on the
but
fence.
we could put a no trailers and then, or direct the trailers to park in the major parking lot.
Yeah.
I don't have a, when you're talking about the disabled, I don't know what the,
So I
how many disabled parking spots do we have down at the beach itself?
I wanna say two
Two.
or four. Two near the porta potties, and I don't know if there's two on the other side against the rail, I'm
I
not
mean,
sure.
because now we've got a beach monitor, maybe we can talk about resident-only parking at the beach. Not everywhere, not the big parking lot or along the road,
Well,
but,
the big parking lot, that's permit only. The trailer parking in the big lot across the street, that's permit only.
right,
During the day, it is not permit,
it's
it's
leaving
only a
it,
permit overnight.
Overnight?
Yeah,
Right.
they must be attached to the vehicle, yeah. So for fishermen that wanna go out and catch bass all day long and then come back, they can be in that parking lot with no permit. They can be along Governor Wentworth Highway there as long as they're not a hazard to the motoring public. South of the bridge. Anything north of the bridge is no parking all along the road, all the way up and around the corner.
but we, I mean, could we put signage up on the road that says no trailers?
I don't see why you couldn't consider either putting something on the chain link fence right there in that area, or, you know, putting a post in that far over that just says, hey, no trailer parking here, if you wanna try to keep that section open. And, you know, I mean, that, I think that's doable if you folks choose to.
And I also think it's a twofold, because part of it is trailers, and they take up, obviously, a lot of space. The other part is people from out of state. And like I said, I don't wanna not share with people from out of state, but we're not getting any benefits. And we should have, I think, a resident-only area for residents, because we do pay the taxes. Everything goes back to money. But yet we can't even utilize our own resources if people come for the entire day and they're just there. So I think that there's a way of coexisting. I'm not a black or a white, I'm always about the gray and meeting people halfway. I don't think we have to do what Wolfboro did, but I also think there could be a way of bringing in an income too, if you wanted to go down that road with non-resident stickers. I think the way you prove residency, again, is with the transfer station pass. It doesn't involve printing anything and all kinds of issues. We all, if we're residents, we have one. So, but I also think it does not hurt to have a little budget, money coming in. I mean, we, you know, either for the police or for the beautification of the area, or if you wanted to extend the beach to what Dennis Alembo was talking about. I feel like we have almost been shut out of our own resources, and I would have never noticed it. I mean, I've been up here for just about 5 years. I would have never noticed it had I not been, you know, dragging a leg behind me for 7 months. But now I'm sitting here saying, this is a little much, and why is Wolfboro sending us everybody? Which they are. And we all know that that's what's happened. They've closed everything down there, and they are making all the income, the businesses, and I just don't see what we're gaining from this. And we should really consider townspeople at least 50%. I'm not saying to the exclusion of non-residents. I'm saying we need to coexist, and if we don't do something about it, there won't be coexisting. They'll just run the whole area, and I don't think it's fair for people paying taxes. So I think there's money to be had. I know it's a little bit of legwork. Who's gonna monitor it? The police, I know it's not a big force. But other towns have done it and they've made a little bit of a profit. You may be able to reach out to maybe Sean Varney and see how they did it in Sandwich when he was there. Or you may want to, you know, whatever. But I think that that's a good source of income that maybe Dennis needs to hire more people. The sky's the limit, but I think at some point, I know people were up in arms last year, and when I came to the clerk's office to register my new car, I said, oh, I can't even think about the summertime. And she said to me, everybody was complaining last year. People were really complaining about that situation down there. I don't think it's going to get any better. So we just have to maybe figure a way to make it work in a reasonable manner for everybody.
We didn't hear that many complaints.
No, we only had one, well, two guys
Yeah.
last summer.
They're not talking to us. They're talking amongst themselves.
Selves.
They're not talking
Ask
to us.
the clerk, because we had a conversation.
Well, there's
And-
nothing we can do. I mean,
I know.
and part of the complaint that came before, they weren't even residents of
I'd like
Tuftonboro,
to
so.
make a suggestion that maybe the chief take this into consideration if you're updating ordinances, chief, and then bring something to the selectmen, and we can get back to you. I'm only thinking about
And I don't
tonight's-
necessarily
tonight's
know if it
agenda
can
is
even
very
be
full.
done this year. This might be something we have to put up to a town vote, and it's next year. But if we don't start addressing it, my neighbors were saying the same thing to me, but of course, nobody wanted to come down with me. All the complaint,
Yeah, and that's that's something you have to work on them too, because they're leaving you in the lurch to do the speaking for them, and you know,
And I don't
it's the
think,
numbers that
yeah.
help.
right,
And making money is not the issue here. I mean,
No.
we're a municipality, so we're not a profit center. I mean, a control, if we went that far, would not be to exclude people from the beach, but exclude them from parking.
Right.
So if you limited the parking just to residents down at the beach,
I think this is something that we need to discuss in detail at a workshop. This is probably not the venue to discuss this. However, I would encourage you to write a detailed letter. Basically recap what you came in and told us tonight. Write a detailed letter, everything, and send it off to Audrey, and we'll take it under consideration.
okay, thank you.
We can't make a decision tonight.
No, I know that, and I mean, this might not even be something for 2025, but
Yep.
I just feel it's gonna present itself again, and I don't know if it's.
Oh, it's
gonna
not
get
going
better.
away.
It's not gonna go away.
Nope.
And the more everyone starts shutting down facilities in other towns, the more it starts coming toward us.
Understood.
So,
well,
I like hearing your ideas. I'm not sure if they're all feasible, but I like hearing them. And
I'm throwing them out, you make a decision if any
Yeah.
of them
Yeah.
are ideas that work for
yeah,
you.
jot them down, send it to Audrey, and we.
and I think rather than,
Take it.
I mean, we've just hired somebody to be the beach monitor. Let's just make that part of her job description. I'm
Yeah, but we got to give her some structure,
right,
and that's the piece that we need to figure out, which that would help
yeah,
us to establish the structure
yeah.
so that we can do that.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for
coming.
bringing it up. Road agent.
The road agent.
Long time no see.
How you doing? Sorry about the last meeting.
How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. Had to go down to Georgia to hang out in the rain down there. Had to, hang out for the wedding. And it was raining down there just as much as it was here.
Audrey, what did I do with that list? Oh, here it is. Got it. Got it.
So, since our last meeting, some of the projects that we've been working on are prepping Red Shoal for paving, which includes saw cut pavement around the areas that are raised up from rocks pushing up from underneath. The pavement has not, the rocks have not been removed yet, because we don't wanna maintain the gravel potholes any longer than we need to, because it just blows the gravel right out.
Mhm.
We've seen this, we've done it, we know better now.
Can, well, educate me then. My mind thinks that if you pull out a rock, put the gravel in, pack it down, having more time to settle,
It
would
does
make a
seem
better
like-
base, because that way after you pave it, you won't end up with a
Correct.
divot.
But you also, there's other ways too. We, need water, and compact it, you put calcium down, that kind of stuff. But it needs some time. It doesn't need 2 months. And we don't know exactly yet. We were told, hopefully, the end of June, they'd be paving. But it goes, it could lead into July. It goes, it depends on rain, how much rain we get. It's not looking good at the moment, so with all this rain, I'm thinking it's gonna be July. So I don't wanna get started too soon. Culvert ends have been sumped out and the ditch lines have been cleaned out to keep water flowing properly. More work will take place as we get closer to the pavers starting.
Properly being the operative word here. At some point in time, you need to stop making wetlands out of my sister's lot. When are you gonna address that?
As far as,
All of the water from Ledge Hill Road dumps onto the lot that she bought next to her house, rather than going down a ditch line. So you have no ditch line, it all should be on the other side of the road going to the brook, but we don't do that. So we need to
yeah,
create
so
a
it's
ditch
not that I
line.
put that ditch line there, that's always been there. I don't think that's a new ditch line. Or
There's
lack of.
no ditch line.
Yeah, well, it's got a turnout, which is kind of how it's always been.
No, it hasn't.
Oh, you don't think that's an old turnout?
The turnout being where? What do you mean a turnout?
There's a turnout for the water to get away from the edge of the road, which is how most of the roads are. The more often you keep it away from the edge of the road, the better.
Yeah,
off
the
you are.
problem is that you've added culverts up along the way and you're moving all the water down on that side of the road. So whether or not it's historical or traditional or whatever, we've moved all the water down to the north side of the road.
So most of it goes down the development before that. It does. Trust me, I know where the culverts are.
Okay,
And it goes down that new development. That's all underground.
okay.
But from there down, it's just that surface water just from,
And what is the, okay, but I'm looking at the amount of money that we're sitting here spending on Ledge Hill Road. And we have done nothing about actually changing the water directions that are going on.
well, it has been talked about. We need to come up with a budget and a plan to do that. And I thought we did have HEB look into that at one point. But that's gotta be all under drainage. We need catch basins and under drainage all the way down the hill, both sides. Not a budget for this year, I don't think.
You need drainage under driveways. Is that what you mean by under
Catch
drainage?
basins in front of each
Okay.
driveway and it.
I mean, if you left the water on the other side of the road, it would hit the brook. The only thing that's missing are 2 culverts at 2 driveways.
Oh, you think that's all there is?
I think that's all
Well,
there
maybe
is.
we could look at that together.
I think we should. I think we should.
Well, I would like that. I just think that the stone wall's pretty close to the road and we gotta figure something out. It's not as easy as putting a culvert in, I don't think.
Yeah, it just seems as though if it were historical, and I'm not gonna pound on this too much longer. If it were historical, that lot would have been wetland a long time ago. All the water's going there, you're seeing it shedding off naturally, and yet there's no historical wetland there. There's no stream bed. There's
We'll
no.
look at it and see
Yeah, let's
how to
look at it.
resolve it. How's that?
That sounds like a plan.
Let's do it.
Moving along.
Yep. Okay, almost all the roads have been swept, except for 3 due to rain. The sweeper should be here tomorrow to finish the rest of them. And then, with the rain, it's been tough to do the road grading. We've got started and we got a lot of edges blown off, ready to go, but it's hard to do it and you don't really wanna do it before a big rain, cause the potholes come right back.
Did they sweep Ledge Hill Road
Yes.
and Pine Mill Drive? Why would you sweep roads that you're gonna be tearing up?
Well, we're not tearing up, actually, we're not tearing up Ledge Hill, and that will have to be swept again before they can pave.
Top coating.
That's just a top coating, correct. I'm not sure if we did sweep firemen, to be honest with you, but, that is gonna be,
And there was,
Okay.
I mean, the chief can talk about the motorcycle accidents that have happened with sand on the road, but there was one not too long ago.
It's generally on the motorcyclists.
Yeah, damn 'em.
30 years. It never took me down.
sometimes you just gotta be smarter than the sand.
Yeah, kind of.
And that's all I have.
Guardrails.
So,
You doing any work on guardrails this year?
Well, we're hoping to. We're on the list.
You got some
We're on the
money,
list.
you got some
Yep.
money for it.
We're on the list. But they told us last year, we all know this, that it wasn't gonna happen first thing this spring. They already have a,
Yeah, they've got their
pretty good
queue.
list going. Yeah,
Yeah.
they got a big list going, but we're on it. We're definitely on the list. Yeah, the rain doesn't
and
help.
somebody who doesn't know how to drive a boat broke off one of the posts down at 19 Mile Pier.
So that was taken care of.
I don't know, I saw it yesterday,
thought Jack was-
there was
Oh,
no
no, I'm
post
not,
there.
okay, yeah, I was gonna say, that makes sense. No, it doesn't, but I got a call from Marine Patrol last Friday.
Mhm.
They found one floating out in the lake, and they towed it in for us to pick up, which we did. It's.
But I think, Officer LaFave has all of the boaters' information.
Oh, he does? Do you know about that?
I know everything about that.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody came in and reported it to us with a bow and number, we turned it over to Marine Patrol, because it's a lake issue.
Right.
They were able to contact, the family that owns the boat, and we have all the information. Not sure who's gonna be putting a new, what are they, 4x6s or whatever in place, but, yes, we have all the info at the PD.
What I saw was a pressure-treated piling, almost like a telephone pole, about 12 feet long, that was tied up. The Marine Patrol had brought in and tied up.
Is that one of our,
It could be, I mean, it looks like it was a piling for somebody, for sure.
no, the one I saw was one of the
4x.
new,
One of the
new
moorings
four-way
with
float.
stakes along to tie your boat on.
Yeah,
So was
That's
it
what, that's what we know about.
yeah.
Okay, so this is a different one that they brought in that we hauled off.
So, I guess you should get with the chief at some point in time and figure out what the cost is to repair that unless,
Okay.
I thought Jack was taking care of that. We talked to him
Yeah, I
last
thought-
week.
he said to talk to Jim, I don't know, should I not?
I didn't hear that, but
Yeah,
Okay, well, I haven't heard about it yet, but I'm sure
Okay.
I can look into it and figure it out.
yeah, we need a price, cause somebody's gonna pay for it, hopefully not the town.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of things on my list here to ask you questions about Sodom Road culvert.
Yep, we've got it on our schedule for mid-June, mid to end of June.
And you're gonna be down at Pier 19 tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, for our culvert tour.
Is that where it is, at Pier 19?
Yeah,
Okay,
at the store.
so I can go down for probably about an hour. I do have a previous engagement that I have to go to in Meredith at 11. Depending how quickly we can get through them, I'll be there for
Okay,
at least an hour.
okay, see if we can make it quick. The Mirror Lake Boat Ramp. We had a request from one of our Conservation Commission members, if you would dress up the sides of the Mirror Lake Boat Ramp.
Okay, I
With
did
stone.
send one of my guys over there to bring the small erosion stone
Yeah,
and put it in, so I think that's been taken care of, but I can
Excellent.
probably confirm that, but
Mhm.
I have a picture of it, it looked good in the picture, but
excellent.
so did you say, Jim, that there wasn't any of the fractured rock available? 'Cause
So,
They
I
came
don't
in
know.
on Friday and.
So we
was
call it
ground
riprap or erosion stone, and I believe that is the same thing, but I'm not positive.
That's
That's what
riprap.
we have and what we can get. I'm not sure where we can get anything that's different than that.
Because the Mirror Lake Association came in last week and they said it's a round rock and when the tires go over it, it moves. And they're always having to rake it back in. And so they were hoping for what they call fractured rock, so it would compact and stay
What
in
did you
place.
take
I think you're talking about the same thing.
I think it's the same thing, and maybe my guy misunderstood, but we have some at the shop.
Like
at the
rip
town
wrap?
garage. Rip wrap, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
Okay.
square edge, sort of.
But we had some, because there was a shortage for a while, nobody was making any. And We found some that were smaller. It was more like a 4-inch minus as opposed to we normally use 6-inch minus. So I'm hoping that's what he used. That's what I asked him to use. We're gonna find out, I guess, but we need to look at it and see.
19 Mile Bay Beach, parking lot grading, boat ramp and beach erosion. We're gonna be addressing those.
Yeah, we do the parking lot every year. So as far as the beach erosion, I don't think that's something that I've ever really handled. Is that something that
I
you
don't
need a
think-
permit to bring in sand and
Yeah,
stuff?
we can't add or subtract without a permit
Yeah.
beyond the retaining wall.
I feel like it's been done, but I think there was a permit involved.
Boy, I don't remember the last time it was
It was a
done.
long time ago.
Knowing if our permit is still good or if it's expired.
No, once it's done, it expires on that beach. That's the way it originally was. Now, if something changed, I don't know what that change would be.
What about the upper deck? I think the upper deck. Yeah, because it's a,
Okay.
Yeah,
what do they
anything,
call that? Perch beach?
Oh, yeah, yep,
Yeah.
Birch Beaches, so it's got a little bit of a retaining wall,
Yeah,
so above the retaining wall.
yeah. Check with Dennis, please. I know he mentioned last year that he thought it could use some sand on that upper deck.
Okay, well,
maybe it'll seep through the stones on the
I don't
beach.
know. I'm asking the question because it's on
Yeah,
my sheet.
well, I could certainly look at it and, maybe it could just, it just needs to be graded out or something.
Sawyer Road child playing sign. Apparently that sign is falling down.
Are there still kids out there?
Yeah, I think so.
And you're all set with the fire department door? That's,
Yeah,
you
I
take-
didn't know.
You taking care of that?
Yeah, who do I write the check out to, because I wasn't sure about that. We
We
called
did.
Audrey.
Yeah, we made the deposit,
We paid the door company.
the deposit, yes.
She said to ask you, so I wasn't sure who
Yeah,
the
it's
check
just
gets
pick
made
a
out to.
town.
Make it out to the town, Tuffy.
Yeah.
yeah, because we'll write the check for work.
Thank you. That's all.
And let's have a little discussion about stone culverts. It was brought to my attention that if we're gonna eliminate the stone culvert that's on 109A here in Middle Road, there's only one left in town. That's on Phineas Graves Road.
Well, technically there's
That's
two.
not a culvert though, is it?
Yeah,
There's one on Willand as well, that's stone, and that's actually true.
is it on this, on the class, yeah, we changed the classification of that road, so,
Yep.
okay, now there are
So-
two.
The one on Phineas is different than I've ever seen. You can't see a hole through it. There's no light to it, but
It's a pile of rocks.
Well, is the
Just like
chamber,
I think
is
it's
the
just
chamber
It's
turned?
a meandering
That's what I'm
culvert.
wondering.
I don't know, I mean, that
Anyway,
takes older than all of us
the-
combined.
Position that was posited to me was, can we put a wait sign on that road? Which may just
So
keep it from collapsing.
I was also asked if we could put up a, one vehicle at a time sign.
Yeah, make it a,
Keep it away from the edges.
Yeah, I know there's some concern, yeah. Especially 2 trucks, that would be.
yeah, I don't know how much truck traffic that road should get. I mean, it's not, it doesn't go anywhere except for a steep hill. And if you're coming down the steep hill, wherever you're coming from with that big truck, there isn't that, I don't know how much truck activity there is on that road.
I don't either. I mean, I've never seen trucks, but I heard that sometimes there's trucks.
Yeah, well,
that-
that's what I was hearing, but it may have been an apocryphal thing. Maybe they saw one truck,
Yeah,
but
so what do we need for signs? 1 lane?
I'm looking at my brothers here. What do you want to do? You want to limit the traffic to 1 lane over this culvert area, or do you want to put a weight limit on it?
Well, if we're gonna try to preserve the culvert, I have a hard time using the word culvert because it's just a pile of rocks. But it's a very old pile of rocks.
Right.
And it does
Historical
work.
pile of rocks.
And it does work. The water,
The
Right.
water goes through.
big pond, and it seems to go through the other side pretty rapidly.
Filters out the big stuff. I don't know.
I mean, I lean towards a single vehicle at a time, but if
Sure.
that single vehicle is super heavyweight, then that's a problem too.
Yeah.
Do you think you should move the guardrails in to make it one lane? Because otherwise people are just gonna ignore the signs.
Well, I think the signs is a good liability for us to have up. I don't think that there's a major problem there. I think it's just a
Start with that.
liability problem is what we're thinking of.
I mean,
Well,
is it a problem? I mean, that thing's been there for, I was just gonna say a couple hundred years.
I don't know. I mean, I've never seen it move. I don't know if it did. I don't
Right.
think it moved. I don't know.
I mean, how long have we had dump trucks on that road? 40?
Since we've had dump
50
trucks.
years? Right, that's what I'm saying.
Is it-
All of a
Yeah,
sudden, this is a new problem.
is it really a problem?
I don't know. That, I don't know.
I
I don't
mean,
know how we figure that
it's
out.
not
either.
terribly hard to put a one vehicle per sign up there, but again, it's probably been like this for
I know, but
decades.
we need to make, it needs to be obvious that we made an effort.
Okay.
That's all. I mean, a sign doesn't cost us a lot of money.
Right, agreed.
And I mean, there's no liability from the town standpoint, other than if somebody goes through the culvert, now we have to decide what we're gonna do. And you're not familiar enough with this meandering culvert structure to actually rebuild it, so we'd end up with a regular culvert.
Yeah, and I think you would have to go through the state on that deal. That's a grandfathered culvert.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it won't do any harm to make it one lane.
Right.
okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'm just,
Do we need to vote on that, or are we just in agreement?
I think we should vote on it because it's a, you know, we're changing the use of the road.
Well, let somebody make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we make the area over the stone culvert on Phineas Graves Road a one-way, or one car,
vehicle.
one vehicle at a time
I'll second that.
passageway.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Okay, we're gonna sign, two signs, we on each side.
Did we need another sign somewhere else? There was somebody else that,
No, it was just the Sawyer
Just the repair of this.
okay, the
So you
child
don't shut
sign.
sign.
needs a little TLC.
Yeah, I'm sure there's more than one sign around town that could be straightened or whatever.
I always thought Slow Children was a great sign, be a good name for a
Double
band.
Moving on, we're behind schedule. Thank you very
Hey,
much.
thank you.
I just have one question. You got the contract for the paving?
Oh, yes, I believe you guys signed it, because
Yeah, so
I
when
have a
is
copy
that?
of it, this,
When,
you guys signed.
when's that starting?
He mentioned it earlier.
Oh, sorry, I missed it.
Late June, more likely early July,
Right.
Or mid-July.
or mid-July.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
Oh, building. I was up with the safety committee visiting places around town. We came to your building at the highway garage. Any movement on that project?
Not yet.
Okay.
I was still trying to find out exactly what we had for money, and we kind of figured that out today.
Okay.
But it's hard to build a building over the building and then take it down. I don't know. We gotta try to come up with a plan, but step one, we know is get a septic design. That's step one, see what the placement is.
Mhm.
And then, maybe step two is build a septic, if it's not in the way of building the rest of the building.
Okay.
But we'll
I
go
think a
from there.
couple meetings ago too, you had approved doing the garage doors, making
Right,
them
the doors in the front.
Yeah, I would like to do that.
So
I mean,
maybe the
obviously, we don't have
septic and
enough
the
money to
doors.
complete the whole building, so I don't know. But maybe we can get some of the groundwork
Get some
done.
pieces done.
Yep,
Yeah.
get some groundwork done.
Or even the doors. I mean, you've got enough money
Yeah.
to do that.
Yep, I would love to do that. That's.
I think you have 152,000.
Yep, okay,
That'll buy you one garage door. Right?
great, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Police chief.
Evening, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
So, activity for April. We did not have any call-outs at all for the month of April. It was slow in that avenue. As far as training goes, I did my firearms instructor recert, and I did an online class on First Amendment rights of public sector employees. And Sergeant LaFave went to an indoor drone operations class that was held by Guilford. My understanding is, I believe it was 2 days, and it was very good. And Officer Baudet went to SWAT 1. Let's see here. Community policing numbers are up. Directed patrol numbers are up. Citations are up. Accidents are up.
Citations are way up.
Yeah, arrests are up. And we still have more just recently as well that you'll see next month. Felonies are down a few, and our bigger investigations are about par. And we're roughly 150 more calls than this time last year.
Yeah, it's really obvious the patrolling. I mean, I'm always running into your police cruisers,
Good, I'm glad to hear it.
so.
Yeah,
that was-
That's the goal.
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, okay, good,
It's good to see you out there.
good. Let's see,
I should have mentioned that to Max when he was in. He was driving pretty fast the other day on Ledge Hill Road.
Wolfboro Parks and Rec came in with the bicycle leg application or permit for the Grant Man Triathlon, which is August 16th. And usually they'll take the normal loop out of Forest Road, Governor Wentworth Highway to Union Wharf to Middle Road back into their town. They have volunteers that are at least hitting all the corners, and I think there's a water stop maybe along the way. It's always traditionally been in front of the store, I think, or just down down a hair.
And,
So.
you know, this year, if the store is closed, they can kind of go wherever they want as long as they're not blocking parking.
Right. Got it.
So,
Yeah.
we try not to keep them in front of the store, but store's closed.
Right.
It's fine to put them wherever.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. We conducted drug take-back at the transfer station on April 26th. We had 25.3 pounds of medication turned in for destruction. And I actually gave you, the program does a countywide breakout. So for you that are curious about where Tufton Borough fits into that mix in terms of the pounds of medication that come in, that's just for you to peruse at some point. Let's see.
A lot of action in Conway.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
well, you know, I think it's just more people and, yeah, Moltboro and, yeah. So,
And Wolfboro doesn't report, is that what's happening there?
yeah, for some reason or another, I don't know why they were not on the list. I do.
Dropbox.
I'm sorry,
Dropbox and
yeah,
Aladdin.
they have the Dropbox that's year round, yeah, so that's why they may not have participated. That probably makes sense. Thank you, Ashley. Okay. And then on April 29th, Officer Baudet responded to a motorcycle accident where the officer had serious bleeding. He applied a tourniquet and assisted with the stopping of the bleeding prior to EMS arrival. And I've given him a commendation for his job well done, which I have attached.
Yep.
Nice.
And,
Very good.
And then body cams have been received. They are in the PD, registered, ready to go. I've drafted a policy on them. Next steps to have training and get that stuff going. Once we have the training, policy and law review, we'll be having them on our uniforms. My goal is I would like to have them in place prior to Motorcycle Week in June, so mid-June. Okay, that's my goal at this point. If we can do it sooner, we'll do it sooner. And actually, I think that's all I have for you folks at this point. Easy peasy, I guess. Is there anything that you folks have for me? Help with it anyway.
No, it looks like your budget's tracking really well.
Yep, we're doing okay. We're having an issue right now currently with the 2017 Tahoe. Apparently the fuel pump and module went on Officer Emerson this weekend, I believe. So it's at 603 Motor Works. They quoted me about $2,600 to do the job. So that is in the works. Parts have been ordered, and I'm hoping we will get it back on the road by weekend. So we're back to 4 cars. Right now we're using man hours to swap cruisers around.
Right,
So
right.
so when an officer is off, then that cruiser is utilized for the people that are on those times. So
And no estimated delivery on a new cruiser?
new cruiser still stands. Last I knew, new cruiser still stands of last week of July, first week of August. Parts have been ordered through Nevo. I did explain that time frame of delivery to Nevo. My hope is that we can kind of get lower in their installation queue, so we don't have to wait around for it. But it is feasible that if we do get it in August, we might still need this 2017 come September possibly, if, to run it a little bit longer, depending on how long we have to wait for the install, fitting. So, as much as that was painful, knowing that this was gonna go offline, we have to have a safe and reliable vehicle to get to where we need to go to service people.
Did he leave him stranded?
No, he was doing radar on Sodom Road, and it was idling, and then all of a sudden it just stalled. And he started it, got it to the end of Sodom Road, and it stalled coming down the hill again. So he pulled over, was able to get it going. He got it to 603, but in front of the general store, it was sputtering pretty hard. And we rolled it right into 603, and that's where it's been since.
So it's a fuel pump?
Apparently, there's a way for them to check through whatever they do, that there's a certain PSI for your fuel delivery system, and apparently that is quite low. And I'm not sure what the cause is. I don't know if it's a plugged kind of filter thing and the fuel filter thing. I'm not really sure. But in order to turn around and replace the fuel pumps in those, you drain the gas tank, you drop the gas tank down, you redo everything on the top of the tank, the module and the pump itself, and then everything goes back up, and so it's
If you drop in the tank, it's getting a new pump, whether it needs it or not.
you got it,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah. So that's where we're at.
So I know we're gonna be looking at the electric bid on the new police station tonight.
Okay.
You got numbers or a visitation or something with your security people, or Knights, I think is who you use.
I talked to Knight yesterday actually, and not yesterday, Friday, and he's going to be emailing us the quote soon. I told him
That was
ASAP.
That was my question.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to.
And same thing with A&B Lock. A&B Lock, I reached out to him and told him ASAP.
Getting the budget created.
Yeah.
They're staking it out.
I saw the work, yeah.
Yeah.
Took the topsoil off just in time to make mud, right?
Yep.
Yeah, perfect. At least we're doing something, that's good. That's good, yeah.
All right, I think we're all set.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Is Jeffrey Newcomb out there?
Mr. Newcomb?
No.
Okay. Fire chief.
Here he is.
And the captain.
The two.
Hi, guys.
Good afternoon.
Everyone, did you receive
Yes.
information?
Yes.
There's a little bit of,
Quite,
a couple things.
quite lengthy.
There's a couple
Sorry.
things that
Did you
are-
write it this time?
We helped.
I had taken care of quite a bit of the stuff before I went on vacation, and then they added to it as things went along.
So they didn't just sit around doing nothing while we
Not
were
at all.
gone?
Things needed to be finalized by a certain date, obviously, to get them in. So
that was done while it was gone. You can see that there's a slight reduction in calls and on the other side of things as far as inspections and things like that. In 2024, we had 50 incidents in 24 hours in the month of April. So that was quite a raise as far as calls wise.
Your
And
fire
that's-
calls.
that-
are
Is
way
that
down.
the April 5th snow
Yeah,
incident?
correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not surprised.
So, you know, and obviously that included whatever you can think of, trees through houses,
Yeah.
motor vehicle accidents, people needing assistance with oxygen and any type of thing that you can think of that would go wrong with power.
So your EMS calls are up.
Yeah.
So are we using our ambulance on that, or is that all Stewart?
It's a combination
Yeah.
in some cases as far as, like the motorcycle accident that took place on, Durgan Road, we transported him to Portsmouth. One, because our medic was going along anyways, so we used our ambulance that the medic was familiar with, and it's a little bit bigger in size and they know where everything is. We're not transporting every patient
Right.
by any means, but if
This
it's
is an exception, so to speak.
if it's a
Yeah.
necessity type of thing.
Yeah, I
we'll
mean,
do
it
that.
was, yeah.
We felt that Stewart's was on scene, they weren't at paramedic level. And that's not something that we require them to be at paramedic level as far as it goes. We require that they be at the advanced level, and they were at that.
Yeah.
So, we've listed out calls
Yep.
as far as that have taken place. I don't know if you have any questions with any of them.
One minor correction. Rescue 1 was serviced at Lakes Region Fire Apparatus, not Eastern Fire Apparatus.
Yes.
And you're getting a $2,200 fuel pump. Fuel pumps are expensive. You got a cruiser that's gonna
Yeah,
cost
police
us
department's all-
$2,600 for that
Well,
one.
the good thing is the police department gets to share
That
because it's all three departments as far as.
that
They
fuel
use
pump
that fuel pump.
charge, the 2,200 for the fuel pump.
Oh, okay.
That was that
Because
included,
it's
The town pump.
Right.
and that included the
Got it.
installation of
I'm
a
with you now.
4-inch levy vent that wasn't there. It wasn't required per code when that tank was first put in. And now that they came to look at it, they're like, hey, that tank should really have one of those. So they replaced the pump, the nozzle and hose.
The good
Added that.
thing, as we dealt with that, we found that the gallonage that is there doesn't put you into some of the codes and stuff that are out there if it's more than 660 gallons. So we want to be careful of any other tanks that we put on that site, because that will put it into a different category, and then we'll have to have what you see basically at the state facility as far as the cement pad and all the different stuff that is there. We are still looking at estimates for emergency shut-off and another item that in the electrical side of things, but we didn't get those before that I went on vacation and things like that.
So
that's still for.
Is everything still up and running?
Yeah, it's up and running now. It's got, the new pump is in place. It was put in place on 5/14, and that's all situated as far as it goes. So any safety concerns that we have with that is taken care of.
So on this airboat information, do you have a preference? Is that the one in
The
green?
green.
The one in the grid.
Okay.
Yeah, he actually explained in this, on this page, kind of what went into the decision factor, if I recall.
Yep.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's not the cheapest one.
Nope.
But it's not the most expensive one either.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually, the way that you laid it out here was pretty solid in terms of being able to
Well,
visually.
there were a couple of hundred of pages of specs between the different companies to go through.
Right.
So to be able to evaluate the same
It
things,
made-
it was much
this
easier
was
to spread it out.
Yeah, well, it helped me when I was kind of just
why we shared
eyeballing
it.
stuff.
Yep.
We, obviously, we got to operate the Diamondback airboat, up in Errol, which is Fish and Game's, boat. And after operating that and talking with them, we felt that, there was no need to go to like New York or Alaska or wherever the, you know, the, Patriot airboat was, because we got most of the information.
Texas.
Yeah, there was a Texas.
Yeah, so they're
it's
they're
built
based
in
out of Texas, but they were giving us a couple of different customers that had built boats similar to ours, so that we could
Oh,
Go
evaluate their platform and see if it was suitable for our mission.
Yeah.
But the Fish and Game boat is the Diamondback. It's the closest one to us, so we evaluated that one first. And where we work so well with them regularly, and the main warden service has the same airboat, keeping a similar platform is more advantageous
And if
to us when we start working on things, when we
Right.
train together, when we operate interdepartment
And
wise.
especially if it fits all of the stuff that you need at a even marginally
Right.
reasonable price,
Exactly.
why not? No, I get it.
7.4 liter, that's a big engine.
Yes.
And
So like a 400 or
the
something?
fan's over 6 feet tall.
425,
425.
525, depends
So,
on.
so Patriot was saying that we needed, what was it,
650.
650, and we felt that that was just like,
More than we
kind
need.
of a.
We're in a 325 currently. So this boat, this replacement boat will be 2 feet bigger, but it'll have a little bit more horsepower as well. The hard part with the boat is when you operate, the friction between the ice and the polymer on the bottom of the boat creates heat. So as soon as we stop, it softens the ice and then
Sticks-
melts, and then we
sticks-
freeze the
sticks to
boat
the
to the ice. So if you don't have enough horsepower, you can't break it free
Oh, wow.
and then get away from that. Or if you're trying to transition from water onto ice or ice onto a snowbank or over a snowbank, you need that extra horsepower at the time. You don't always need throttle while we're operating. So it's one of those, too
You
much
gotta-
horsepower isn't a thing, too much throttle is the problem. So it's where we train the operators how to use it.
And the other thing is that a lot of the different areas where we try to take off from, like Pier 19, it's tar. And so
Lot of
you need the-
friction.
You get a lot of friction
Right.
there, so you need the power to take
To get
off
from
there.
there.
Mirror Lake, as far as Mirror Lake itself, when we drop the boat, it gets dropped in the road, again, tar, a lot of different areas. You find that, the friction is what you want to.
And this is
get through.
coming to us when?
So they have a 5-month build time
Mhm.
estimated when we sign with them. We're waiting for your approval to move forward with that. But
Right.
the goal was to try to get the boat, get it here, finish the upfitting, and have it trained and in service before the winter.
By the winter.
And is there value to our old boat?
That's a very good question. So obviously, as we, obviously as we, you know, depending on how you want to go about the whole thing, there are some municipalities that are interested in it. Errol, the day that we were up there, they were very interested in it because they had an incident that they couldn't get to. As far as a UTV through the ice that was like 6 miles out into an area. And then there's been other departments, municipal wise, that have expressed interest in it. So whether you want to put it out to bid through a municipality type of thing, or put it out to bid to the general public, I'm not quite sure which way you want to go with that.
Well, is there any way to establish a market value? I mean,
That's been hard. We've done a ton of research. You can't really go on Kelly Blue Book. It's similar to like a fire engine, right? It's a very niche market.
It's a niche market.
So we're evaluating other used boats that are similar to it, and it ranges from 10 or 15,000 to 30 or 40. So we're kind of assuming
Because
that
the
we
boat
can get
itself is how old?
It's
20 years.
Yeah, it's
To
2005.
2005.
It's a 2005.
It's worn out.
It's worn. It's seen a lot of wear, but it's
But
got a
we've
lot of
taken
life
good-
left.
We've taken good care
I
of
think,
it.
and that's the discussions with Errol. They bought one of our surplus fire engines in the past, so the market that they have in their funding is more appropriate to buying a used boat like that and trying to get another 5 years out of it.
Yep.
It would save us from stripping a lot of the mechanical light sirens, that kind of equipment off it. If we
Yep.
sold it to the private sector, to a waterfront marine company, we'd have to take all that off. So some of the costs, like we might be able to sell it for a little bit more locally, but we put a little bit more into preparing it for that sale. Where if we were able to align a deal with the municipality, like the old engine, or when we sold the past Chief's Cruiser to Effingham, something like that.
Right.
But
I mean, I don't think we necessarily have to put it out for bid.
just want a fair price.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, we could advertise the price to fire departments or similar situated people.
And I don't mind posting it for a little bit higher than that rough
Yeah.
number on
Well, I
the
mean, you've got
municipal
equipment.
auction sites and see if we get a bite
Right.
in
Yeah.
that direction. And if we don't, then we can entertain this
Yeah,
project with another municipality.
You know, I think it should go out to bid. Maybe not to the public, but, like you suggested, to put it out on, what's that?
Unismart?
Unismart?
Municipal bid.
Municipal bid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but you have to put language in there that we, we have the right to refuse it.
Yep,
Right.
as we did the last time.
Yeah,
And it should have a minimum bid.
Okay.
So,
Good.
somewhat south of, what the fair market value is.
Sure.
Sure.
We'll put some of that together and bring it back to you.
Yeah. Now, as far as purchasing this, you looking for us to make a decision tonight?
As soon as you can.
If you're prepared to.
Is this within budget?
Oh, yes. Yeah, obviously, this isn't everything that goes in the boat, and, you know, obviously, we had budgeted up to $150,000 with the association paying $50,000, and the town $100 with that, so.
Well, let's,
so you've got, is $30,000 enough to equip the boat?
We
Mhm.
believe so, yes.
Okay.
Will you be reusing any of the equipment from the older boat?
A lot of the small hands-on stuff, the electronics are out of date. So the electronics we're upgrading
Yep.
in the personal protective helmets,
Yeah.
which includes some of that communication electronic system, will upgrade. But a lot of the hand tools will marry from one to the other.
Yeah, so there's.
But anything boat-wise, it's all.
The electronics are the expensive part, to be honest.
Right.
It's a
That-
new boat, should have new equipment.
Right.
Yeah, no, I wasn't suggesting.
But
Oh, it's
flashlights, throw bag, reach poles, a lot of those things have been upgraded
Yeah.
because they were
Oh.
along the way because they were cost effective to do.
Yeah.
The bigger items like the communications equipment, that hearing protection setup is almost 10,000 just for the ability for us to get hearing protection and hear the dispatch communications at the same time while we communicate as a company and a crew. That was really the big push with upgrading that side of it, was to give our responders better hearing protection and being able to hear.
And it's come a long ways.
Yeah.
The different companies that we've gone through as far as in testing it. You know, one company, we went out and were like, this isn't any better than what we have currently.
Mhm.
And another one, we went out and it was like you could hear each other, you know, talking with the boat under power. So that's a huge difference to us.
And you're gonna keep it for 20 years, so it
Yes.
isn't
Right.
Right.
like it. Well, I'm gonna make a motion that we authorize the fire department to put an order in for a Diamondback airboat 1060. Oh, that's their address, sorry. For $121,330.
And I'll second.
excellent. You guys have done your homework, like anything else you do. You've given it due diligence, so, nice work. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And
It's your orders for your vote?
there's a letter about a ENT in your packet.
Yep.
Is that an additional person? The
That's
one you just hired?
No, we're talking about this non-public.
That's the
Okay,
norm.
no, I'm not talking names, I just wanted to know if it was another person.
That's the new
That's the
person.
candidate.
Okay, all right. I don't need any more details than that.
All right. Any, we done with all your public stuff?
I think that everything,
Yeah.
unless you had any other questions about any
The rest of the novel.
The novel.
No, I've read that novel. No, I did read it. Cover to
It's
cover.
the electronic version.
Yeah, perfect.
Very comprehensive.
There was one minor change as far as the hose testing. Instead of 17,500 feet, it ended up being 10,027 feet. And that change is that they no longer test 1-inch forestry hose. And any 4-inch large diameter hose that didn't have locking couplings. And what I mean by locking couplings is that obviously, I don't know if I have a picture, but if it doesn't have locking couplings, it can no longer be tested and it
Because of the
needed
risk
to be
of
taken out of service.
disconnecting.
Yeah.
Yes. When
Are you
it,
talking the ones with the,
so
I forget what
so
they call those.
so ours have Storz couplings, and you twist them and they lock in place. Well, in today's day and age, there's a little like finger thing that comes down and locks in place, so you have to push those down on both sides
In order to.
so it doesn't come apart.
Right.
So nothing can be
That little latch
that little thing.
is all that is now required, because when you charge the hose, inherently it gains a twist,
Sure.
and it's only a quarter turn for those couplings, so as that hose twists down the road, they had a tendency to separate.
Or when it comes out of the back of the truck at any speed.
So how much
hits
hose
the road.
in the old design, how much hose do we have?
There was like 1,700 feet of 4-inch hose that had non-locking couplings.
So you're gonna have to replace that.
We have budgeted for 600 feet this year,
Mhm.
so we'll do that. And then as we go along through the budget process, then we'll
Get
take
some
an
more.
account for that.
Okay, very good. So we have a non-public. Let's see.
Everybody's budget's good.
I'm gonna make a motion that we go into non-public under RSA 91A:3 2A. The dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee or the discipline of such employee or the investigation, unless the employee, stand corrected. 91A:3 2B, the hiring of any person as a public employee.
There you go.
I stand corrected.
I was nervous there for a second. Who's gonna be this?
Wrong one.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Murray, yes.
Coffin, yeah.
All the yes.
Okay. We have no. We live again? Okay. Consent calendar. We have an abatement recommendation, a right of burial, another right of burial, notice of reappointments for the CIP, Planning Board, Board of Adjustment, and Parks and Rec. A mooring lease, the annual mooring lease between Tuftonboro and Wolfboro.
Mhm.
A temporary easement for culvert on 109A. And Mirror Lake Management Plan Loan Agreement, which we're all very, very familiar with. I assume both of you have looked through this folder?
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we sign the items in the consent calendar.
Let's take this item first.
Do you wanna do just one at a time?
No, I just want to do one,
Okay,
and then we can do the rest.
all right,
This one here is the abatement recommendation that we talked about earlier with that tax collector.
mhm,
And I'm going to recommend that we deny this abatement. This is for the trailer.
right.
We talked about this at length.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think once you tax that property, you now have given more rights of occupancy than without a tax bill.
Correct.
So I think we should leave it alone as a accessory use that ends,
That expires.
October 1.
yeah, October
Yeah.
1.
Yeah, so I'll make a motion that we deny the abatement.
I'll second.
Chip seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
In my experience, the property owner should get a letter saying that they have to register it because the tax collector was correct, it's supposed to be registered.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Are you gonna construct that?
Yeah.
Is that your volunteering?
All right, so the rest of the items, right of burial, another right of burial, notice of reappointments, without, which come with recommendations. The mooring lease between Tufton Borough and Wolfboro, temporary easement, and the Mirror Lake Management Plan.
I'll make a motion that we sign those items in the consent calendar.
And then we'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We'll sign these at the end too.
Do we have to take action?
Action items. We have a culvert site walk tomorrow, 9 o'clock, which I'll be attending with the road agent and engineer firm. HEB?
Correct. It won't be Chris, it'll be a designate.
Okay. Police station progress review. We have 2 deeded properties that we're gonna be taking,
I thought one of which was resolved. for-
which will be resolving, yes. I
Alright,
think
that
we-
one.
I think we still have to take the action, because Jackie used the word tentative,
Mhm.
means they verbally agreed to it.
Correct. And that's what my concern was, because they could say they're gonna do one thing and
And do another.
Well, yeah, in order for Jackie's thing to work, we have to take the
We have to
property.
take the action.
Correct.
And the New Hampshire Electric Cooperative Board of Directors election ballot.
On the properties, you've already taken them, she's taken them, she was just informing you, so I don't think you have any action right now.
Okay. So the only action that we have to take in this folder is the Board of Directors election. I see Alana, I'll be on here.
Again,
That's the only person I know.
Yeah, so we have to choose 3 more. Are you familiar with any of these people?
I am
Have you
familiar with 2 of them, but I know that how do they word it? It's the board put their names up or somebody put their name up?
Nominated by nominating committee.
Right, there we
There's
go.
1, 2, 3, 4 that
Yeah,
have been nominated by the nominating committee, and 1 that has been nominated by petition.
and so it would be my recommendation that we follow the nominating committee's recommendations.
Is that a motion?
It is,
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye. There's also a 1 year down below the line there,
Director for 1-year term.
yeah.
And there's 1 name that's been nominated by the nominating committee. Include that in your motion?
I'm including everything in my motion.
Okay. Correspondence. Notice of decision from the Board of Adjustment. The appeal of William C. Brown Trust has been granted. Certificate of attendance for our town administrator, administrative assistant, and Cammy for fire extinguisher review and hands-on training.
The town clerk and deputy also received certifications.
Okay.
And I think when Chris Rule was in, he said that transfer station folks did as well.
All right, good to know, thank you. Thank you for attending. And 2 notice of wetlands permit applications. Town administrator and selectmen's updates.
In addition to the things you see regarding police station and organizing the site walk, things like that, Ashley and I are working on updating the personnel policy, so hopefully you'll have that and have a good week to review it prior to your next meeting. And also a financial policy related to cash specifically, because it's not handled well here, and I think we need to tighten it up, so expect a couple policies to come your way.
Okay.
Okay, my next.
Go ahead.
The original bid that we awarded to Jory Bailey, I'm sorry for the breaking voice, included $143,870 worth of foundation and sidewalks. The new figure on that is, do you have that in hand? I was looking for it, I thought I had it.
I did.
I thought I did. That's like 104.
This is,
Yeah,
Okay,
but it's even changed from then, but we haven't gotten a revised one from him.
right. But we're gonna be revising his original bid to,
A little less
Removed
than
a couple
that.
of things, right?
yeah, well, no, we changed contractors, or cement guys, so it's 97,038.
about $45,000 difference.
Well, no, it's good, we
You have
gotta
to
add
add
flat work to that. Plus, that's the foundation, that's the garage floor. Then these other little guys. 3108 plus 1068 plus 213 plus 202. Yeah. So the cement has been revised down to 103,509. So we saved about $40,000. So we can talk about the other issue in non-public, but I'm just gonna point out that we saved $40,000 by working the deal, as it were, working with.
Working collaboratively.
Yes, exactly. So although I haven't directed Audrey to do it, but I'll make sure that we get a letter that bid has changed, or that portion of the bid has changed, the gross,
Memorializes it.
the gross for that
Yeah.
part of the project, the site work and cement, that gross number was changed as well.
Good.
And there's a deposit requirement in order to make it happen. And the other issue that I just talked to him about, that we'll get into when we go into non-public, one item is no, we won't. So our intention is to bury the propane tank. There's a cement slab for the propane tank in this concrete number. If it doesn't get put in, then it won't get paid. That's why he itemized it. But if he's gotta dig the hole, that's not in his site work program. So rather than mess around with the gross, or the bigger bid and concrete, I just said, let's create a change order once we get to that point for digging the hole.
Yep.
And then, so I'm just putting you two guys on notice that
Maybe it'll be a wash, who knows?
it could very well be, because there's also a generator pad in this number,
Which may or may not happen.
which
right?
may or may not happen by
Right,
Mr. Bailey.
right.
The other thing that we did was we moved the building. And if I have even though the building's not there, this is a French cemetery. I don't need that. The issue was that by moving the building towards Wayne's house by 8 feet, we save ourselves 8 feet of slope that would need to be filled in order for the driveway to work. And we still have, I'm not sure what, I didn't get a number, but I will the next time I come in. We're well over 35 feet from the wall. Plenty of room for the well.
No
There's
encroachment on the setback.
no. But it does relieve that, and it gives us a better sight line from the drive to the door. We might pick up one parking spot, but it also gives us some better plowing, for instance, and less filled land with pavement on top of it, which is always a good thing. The loam that's sitting in those piles is gonna be our loam once it's screened. I forgot to ask him whether he's bringing a screening plant in, but I don't think he's gonna haul it away. And I think it's gonna be an ongoing screening thing. Jack has coordinated the driveway permit with the state. We already had a driveway permit for a residence, but this is going to a commercial, so it's gonna be a little different. The co-op has been contacted and given us a price of, I believe it was $6,500 to do a pole. So the electricity's all on the library side. So they need to bring it over the road,
Right.
bring it to a pole with a transformer down, and that it would include a pedestal with a meter and some outlets. So we'll have power on the job from the co-op, and that's a $6,500 price tag.
Okay.
Which was an estimate, I mean, we knew that was coming anyway, right?
Right, right.
Right.
It wasn't in any of the electrical bids that we've looked at,
Right.
so
But we knew we had to set a pole.
somewhere along the line, we're gonna have to. And I think, and I suppose we can do it, well, we have to do it in public. I think we've started to form an arrangement that works, whereas, Audrey's concern was, who's driving the bus. And I'm stopping multiple times during the week. And that's how we came up with these couple of things that I mentioned. Jack's intention is to inspect as it goes. So before we cut a check for anything, it's gonna have to be inspected and approved by Jack. Oh, that's the other, we moved the building up, because code says a 1.5 feet above grade. The architect had drawn it a foot above grade, so it's now 18 inches. So it doesn't change the amount of concrete or the depth of anything, it just,
It brings the whole
They
thing
just don't
up
think the hole is deep.
6 inches.
Yeah,
and
less
it's,
deep.
but it keeps the weather off the building, it's,
Right.
good thing.
And that's still gonna, that 6 inches isn't gonna make a difference as far as frost protection.
No, because it's a 5-foot wall, so,
So it's 3.5 feet down plus footing.
right. No, it's 3.5 feet plus the footing,
Plus
so I don't
footing.
think there's ever gonna be frost issues, and it's insulated.
Right.
And also, that was the other, and I don't know if you were there, I don't think you were. His quote does include insulation for the foundation at 2 inches. So I know we had talked about 1 inch or something.
Yeah, but I talked to Jack about that too, and Jack says we gotta stick with 2 because energy code.
Yeah, and we might as well, I mean, he's got a 12-inch sill plate
Yeah.
projected,
Yeah.
so that you're only, what do you end up with? 9 inches 9.5 inches on the cement. The cement's only 8 inches, so yeah, I think it all works. That's it for me.
Okay, and.
I can't foresee, I'm sorry, David.
No, it's all right.
I can't foresee having a work session on the project if we vote tonight on the issues that are gonna be in non-public. But if we don't, we're gonna have to have a work session,
Mhm.
Next week.
so, yeah.
To work some of this stuff out, okay.
Or just to vote on it, because we can't, I'm reluctant to make decisions sua sponte.
Mhm.
Appreciate that.
Okay, thanks.
And I don't have anything to add, because everything that I was gonna add, I fleshed out as the evening progressed. Any other business?
If I may,
Yeah, you may.
Guy Pipe. It's come to my attention that the last recipient of the Boston Post cane passed away 2 years ago. So maybe we could
We
put a
have,
little effort into finding someone that might receive a cane again.
the town clerk has been working on that and has had refusal of that. The last count I had was 4 different people refused it.
Really?
And so she's, pretty soon you
I
and I,
thought we had somebody that,
you and I are gonna be old enough
I
pretty
was
soon.
thinking Lloyd would, but
I thought we had somebody, even though they were down the line, accepted it, because we had 3, 4 people that refused it.
Right.
I don't know why. they
And that may have
refused it.
happened between now
They
and the
probably
last time
think
I talked.
it's a causation. They're afraid to
Prediction.
take it, exactly,
Prediction.
they're afraid to, they're afraid to take
it has been
Yeah.
controversial in the past. I know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I mean, if they're at all, what's the word I'm looking for?
Amenable?
Superstitious?
Superstitious, thank you, that's the word.
Suspicious?
Superstitious.
Oh, superstitious.
That's the only thing I have.
Thank you.
Oh, and I'm pleased to see that the work has started on the police station.
Right?
And I will report through social media, my findings here tonight that the selectmen are all over this. And they're working diligently to get this project completed.
And we will,
And they will persevere.
it will come in under budget.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Have a great evening, folks.
All right. Any other business? All right, so, we're gonna go to non-public for contract discussions.
Yep.
And then we'll come out of non-public and close the meeting. One way or the other.
Yep. There it is. I was looking for my scratching.
I think this best falls under, I'm going to make a motion to go into non-public RSA 91A:32C, matters which, if discussed in public, would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person other than a member of this board. Unless such person requests an open meeting, this exemption shall extend to include any application for assistance that's irrelevant. Roll call vote. Murray, yes.
Definite, yes.
I'll be yes, and we'll, when we get into non-public, we'll talk about that too.
All set?
Your motion?
That we come
Say-
out of
Say it
non-public.
again.
I make a motion that we come out of non-public.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. After some lengthy discussion, we're gonna be awarding some bids for the police station. I'm gonna start with Reed Mechanical, who's gonna be doing the HVAC. We have a hydronic side and a mechanical air side. The hydronic proposal is $62,871.40. And the mechanical proposal is $85,656.85 for a grand total of $148,528.25. Reed Mechanical is a Tufton Borough-based company.
Is that a motion?
Sure.
I'll second.
Actually, you know what,
Or
no.
do you want to include?
I don't wanna make the motion on this one.
Okay, I'll make the
I'd like someone
motion.
else to make the motion.
I'll make a motion to award Reed Mechanical
$148,528.25.
$148,525.
$148,528.25.
$28, I'm sorry.
cents
I'm not giving pennies. Do I
for
have a
purposes
second?
of mechanical and hydronic HVAC system.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Okay, in agreement with that bid, I'm gonna make a motion that we pay Reed Mechanical $11,038, excuse me, to do the rough-in underfloor heating for the new police station.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have an electrical quote from Scott Thompson, electrician right here in Tufton Borough. And Scott has proposed to do the electrical system on the police station, including the generator, for a total of $247,400.
I'll make a motion that we accept the quote for Scott Thompson's electrical work to the cost of $247,400.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll make a motion that we award, or pay Scott, now that we've awarded his contract, $82,467 as a deposit on his work.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I have a quote from Bubba's Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. Bubba has proposed to do the plumbing system in the police station for a total project price of $145,775.55.
I'll motion that we accept Bubba's plumbing, heating, and cooling as a contractor for plumbing for the Tufton Borough Police Station with a total price for project of $145,775.55.
I'll second. I don't like pennies, but I'll
Sorry.
second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And for the record, Bubba is a Tufton Borough plumbing company as well. So I'm very proud to say that we've awarded 3 of these contracts to local contractors.
Did you want a motion for Bubba's deposit?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll make a motion that we give Bubba a deposit as requested on his bid for $34,702.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Wonderful.
Okay, I'll get their insurance certificates and we have bids that are fairly generic. Do I need to draw up contracts?
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah.
All right.
So we've awarded a total, I'm not gonna deduct the 38,000 from it, of $1,545,000. There's some credits that are gonna come out of the site work bid because the concrete charges are about $38,000 less, but we are ahead of our current money. We're in the black, as it were.
A long way to go. Don't curse us yet,
We're in good shape. That's,
Yeah, I think we're fine.
so far.
so,
I'm not superstitious.
If we just keep our eye on the ball, we'll be fine.
All right. Any other business we need to discuss tonight?
I'm gonna make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Excellent.
So I'll
Thank you.